Hello. Oh shit. Huh, I moved the mic, sorry. Good morning. Good evening. I have eaten what could be called a copious amount of delivery McDonald's in the last 18 hours. I'm not feeling the best. I'm beating some kind of minor cold. I feel better today. I have less of the virus feeling, trademark, and I'm just kind of, I don't know, feeling normal mostly, but still a little whatever. But I fucked up the I fucked up the stream pancakes. I was kind of winging it with my last bit of this batter, and this batter was already haunted because it was expecting eggs, and I don't have eggs. I just don't have an egg plan right now. And I also made it runny as fuck because I put in way too much milk, and there was no more batter to use to even it out. I had to make something approaching crepe, but really just too shitty to be anything with whatever runny pancake liquid I actually made. And backpedal, I mentioned I'm sick because I got home from work yesterday and I did not feel that good, and I'm like, feet a cold, starve a fever. So I was like, I need to order a cheeseburger from delivery McDonald's because I've been seeing those little scooters, and I'm like, that could be me. But then I found out there was a delivery minimum, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna sit on the floor with Kirby Triple Deluxe and eat so much fucking McDonald's. And it was great. I feel like I've tried way more of Japanese McDonald's than I ever thought I would in like the first month, if not just these last 24 hours. Yes, the taste of home. And so yes, I learned the power of delivery danks right there. And then this morning I said, well, I know who can bring me pancakes. See, it all connects. I said, I know who can bring me pancakes because I saw them on the menu yesterday. And then this all led to me getting the McDonald's delivery breakfast settle, which is a lot of fucking food. It's a lot of fucking breakfast food from McDonald's. So you can thank McDonald's for catering today. I'm gonna get all my vitamins, particularly vitamin G. And yeah, grease for greenpath. Yeah, no viral bugs. We have real bugs. I really want to go to the club today and seek idols. There's like an idol thing all day long with a bunch of local idols, and I'm like, I don't think I can go for long because like streaming. I don't think I can stream for as long as normal. I might stop around noon or noon 30 for my time, like 11:30 your time. Just because like keep my energy up, take a break between this and the club. But due to the nature of club, like I shouldn't go too hard. I really shouldn't breathe on people much today. So, really wish this didn't happen. Shitty timing, honestly. Everybody's coughing. I mean, I'm glad I wasn't sick last month, because last month I didn't even know how to pay my taxes. So, that would have been a lot more stressful. Vitamin G for Grimace, yeah. Okay. How are my Joy-Cons? My pink one was being silly yesterday. They're moderately charged. Whatever. Yeah, for idols. For idols. So this is Greenpath. This is definitely one of the most... One sec. Definitely one of the most beloved and famous areas in the whole game. And I've seen people say that... I've seen the opinion that Hollow Knight is a slow start until Greenpath, which I had never really considered myself. But I kind of get it. I mean, there is a lot... I don't know, honestly, things are just kind of tighter. Like, I don't know, I think the level design is a little bit more engaging in Greenpath than the Forgotten Crossroads. Forgotten Crossroads is like... I don't know. It's kind of mindless, now that I think about it. But also, I think the visuals are just a lot lusher here than the Forgotten Crossroads, which is literally just, like, the default blue rocks that you'll be seeing in pretty much every area from now on, behind whatever makes it unique. Hi, Juno, you made it! I thought we weren't going to be seeing you for Greenpath because of the Destiny raid. Okay. Have fun. I'm glad you can be here. In any degree. I forget what's this way. Oh yeah, these things. The Earthblade things. The first, like, room that they showed of Earthblade had these cuttable things. And my analysis of these cuttable things is one of the only videos that's ever gotten substantial views on this whole channel, actually. That's the kind of thing I'd like to be known for. I'll tell you about the cuttable things. Oh, fuck. Hi! Lerg. Yeah, I agree. Also, why don't I have... Why Soul Catcher? Huh. This game really does be having light particles for days. Like, there's just so much. Also, I can't help but notice, like, I was doing more comparisons between what I see on the TV versus what I'm seeing on the OBS thing, and there are just so many colors that don't seem to be coming through. Like, I'm seeing, like, light blues, I'm seeing so many different colors, and I just see this vague teal mixed color with none of the light separated into its parts when I look at what's coming through the Elgato, which is really interesting to me. I've never noticed that much of a difference. Oh no. Hollow Knight is good medicine. We're literally here to heal. No, I also have like a really mild cold. I don't feel that bad, but... God, I'm so glad I didn't get you fucking sick when you harbored me from a thunderstorm and I had fucking COVID. Jesus Christ, that would have been so sad. What am I drinking? I have no idea what I'm drinking. It's pretty fucking good. It was somewhere in the tea section of the menu. I was like, I'll try that thing. I mean, I think this is orange juice. Yeah, this is orange juice. It's just that the other thing was more orange. Now you have my unbiased views on orange juice. It's really fucking good. The McMatcha. Good to move. Was it fun movement? Oh wow. This is also some kind of fun juice. I do think that the roads twist and turn in wonderful ways. I think that's kind of the goal. That's kind of the end goal of game design, isn't it? To have your roads twist and turn in wonderful ways. Perhaps provide some nuisances. I think I've tried shade skips around here. I don't think I really care to, but that grub is making me a little antsy. You legit moved apartments? Oh my god. Wowza, krapowza. What was the inspiration? Do you have less than walls? I honestly, my first thought when you said that was like you legit moved houses, but I'm like, that sounds kind of major. Seems unlikely that she moved houses. Major monogram over here with the life decisions. That's such one of those things I was collecting, like it's like a four kanji compound, but just for my use of English, like Heartbreak Cove. I think DJ Missed Opportunities, major monogram, which is not, he's real, but you know, huh. That sounds real. It sounds real. That's how I feel sometimes. That's how I feel pretty often. I get overstimulated. That's like an early wrote Pokemon song. I was trying to summon something that would remind you of Professor Oak or Professor Rowan. I think I pulled out an early wrote Sinnoh song. I think I pulled out an early route Sinnoh song like Twin Leaf Town or like the one on the route to Mesprit. Because this guy really is Professor Oak. He gives you the Pokedex and tells you to go on an adventure. I will. I've been looking forward to this. The Grezzer. Look at that little snout. He's been on that Mario elephant mushroom stuff. The meth lab that blew up in my town, my old high school. How? Huh? The stink of meth. Oh, I've never smelled meth. It sounds like more people have smelled meth in the chat than I have. The meth lab that blew up. Better on the broadcast than right in front of me. Wow. No, I'm guessing that it evens out. It's just that when I look at the preview on OBS, it looks kind of like narrow. The colors seem a lot like less broad than... I mean, I can check the... Oh yeah, I mean... Let's see. What I'm getting... Oh, here we go. No, the actual stream output. Oh no, these are different rooms. But still, I would say the actual stream output. Let's see. The actual stream output to the stream. I think it's more like the TV. Yeah, I think I'm seeing more colors and more light and more effects on what they're actually showing you versus my OBS preview. I'm guessing OBS is like simplifying things to make it easier to show me a real-time preview, which is kind of cute. Meth finds a way. That's what I've always said. I've always said that meth finds a way. I think this is some kind of fruit tea that I'm trying. I had absolutely no idea. Hey, Naoto Sensei, what were you saying about this game having glitches? I just found a new skip hop. They call this the fuck. They call this the doctor's office chair. They call this the needle hop. Did you get that? Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, I can't even jump. This game's terrible. Yo! They call this the needle scoot. This is really silly. Oh, wait, you can just jump also. That's fun. Okay. No! The fucking pink remote. Urgh. The fucking pink Joy-Con did a pink Joy-Con thing and stopped my input. Urgh. It's like getting a cramp. Whenever the pink Joy-Con acts up, it feels like the character's getting a leg cramp. We can send some math your way. So it's the same building. Yeah, I suppose that's not going to be a gigantic difference, but yeah, kudos on the move. Pinky, no. Oh man, I fucking slaughtered that poor thing. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. The song's too whimsical for Slaughter. Yeah, I will. Yeah. This whole concept of, I forget who said it. I completely forget who said it. Maybe you said it last week, Naoto. Somebody told me that, like, it's a common Hollow Knight opinion that it doesn't pick up till greenpath, like that the Forgotten Crossroads are a slow start, which is really interesting to me, just comparing that people feel greenpath is that much more interesting than Frog Roads, because like I've never really differentiated the two. They're just part of the same adventure, kind of. I mean, despite them being very different. Oh, come on, Pinkie Pie. Come on, Pinkie Pie. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? Get your computers in a gizmo. Come on, come on, come on. Get your computers in a gizmo. I mean, it's gone really haywire before, but it always comes back. Slightly higher, slightly better view. That sounds nice. I'm hearing positive. So yeah, I've been very curious as to why people feel like this is such a more interesting level than Frog Roads. It's not hard to figure out why, but it's fun noticing all the ways. I mean, I will say no matter how many times I play this game, I never have a perfect mental map of these areas in the way that I do other ones, which is funny because I've played them the most, obviously. Yeah, I'm just always kind of curious, like, the way that it's designed, it's hard to keep a perfect mental map for me. I kind of have these vague gestures and forget how they specifically connect, but like the mushroom area, I feel like I've got pretty down pat. The city, I definitely have pretty down pat. Ancient Basin for sure. I think even anything in Kingdom's Edge I know pretty well. You kind of have to learn the sewers pretty well. Crystal Caverns I know pretty damn well, but there's always like those two areas where I get a little confused on how they connect, but no, I mean, there's something very solid about these areas, honestly, when I think about it. They weave around in such delightful ways, what can I say? Oh, I could have got the geomagnet back on. I'm not thinking charms, I'm not thinking badges. I'm not a Mario Wonder character. This game's gonna be incredible. Like, it's wild to me that they put the badge system in. That's just absolutely nuts. They're like Metroidvania style upgrades. Like wall jumps, double jumps, hook shots, like all these fun things that make platforming better, and they're like optional toggles and have their own little things. Which is very, very un-Nintendo. Like, I think Miyamoto is probably like kind of crying. And come to think of it, gradual unlocks for your characters like that, dare I say a skill tree adjacent thing, where there's no skill tree, but oh, I'm gonna fucking die. Where there's no skill tree, but you get like major unlocks, is something that in like 2019 we were hearing they were opposed to. Like, they were opposed to Luigi getting his Luigi's Mansion 3 ability unlocks gradually as a sign of progress to incentivize the player and make a better fucking video game, because they were so afraid of skill trees and having people just like grind until they get to the unlocks, I guess. So they were trying to be cutesy about it, and they were like, he's not unlocking a fucking thing. would have been a much better game if they paced out the unlocks for the abilities. It would have been significantly better. But I mean, I doubt you're getting all your Mario badges up front. I think you gotta unlock these motherfuckers. So going from Luigi can't have gradual unlocks to we're putting gradual ability unlocks in a fucking 2D Mario game, that's a sign of ambivalence, if nothing else. Has it been a struggle? They're very, very big in Pikmin 4. They really are. I'm trying to think. It's been a little while since I played now. I did play like one night when I moved in, but that was like the first week. They are very big. They're very lovely. Yeah, so those who stray from the King's Road face the wrath of Un. Un, I think, is a religious figure for the people who lived here in the naturey lands in Greenpath and the Queen's Garden, who appear to have been like not so recently colonized or wiped out by the kingdom that we come from, Hallownest. You know, this seems like a very recently stolen area with its own culture. And I mean, that happens a few times. You know, you get these different groups of people inside Hollow Nest. Like, I believe the Moth people committed crimes. Well, I think we're living in the Moth people's crimes, but I believe there's some nuance to the Moth person who handles all of the dream quests, being like one of the last Moth people or something like that. There's all that kind of stuff, but I did find it interesting how Greenpath and Queen's Garden are related, not just from like being the planty area, but to having this Un character and having their own kind of stuff going on. It's a really subtle way to build up kind of Hollow Nest's weirdness. Maybe it was a very bad place. Wouldn't it be fucked up if we were related to the royalty in any significant way? Oh, nope, nope, nope. Well, that makes it adventurous. That makes it adventure-y. I wouldn't say that was like a super strong appeal point of the original games, which I do want to call them now because I feel like Pikmin 4 is just that different. The top-down games, which I will straight up call them as they are, I feel like they weren't quite the same way. What's gonna stop me? Now who's gonna stop me? I'm curious what's gonna stop me from getting to Queen Station. Oh, also the Queen. The Queen has a strong connection with this area. Oh, I'm putting two and two together. Maybe it was like a marriage kind of imperialism. I'm putting two and two together here. I can't picture the Moth Cloak having a check here. Man, I don't know if you remember the Let's Play Noreen, but this place kicked my ass the first time I came. I was like, what the fuck is the jellyfish area? See you next time. I was so scared. I couldn't handle walking around. Dreamed the leaf folk into being. I believe Hollow Nest did basically colonize them, though it wasn't as nasty as usual colonialism. Yeah, because I think the Queen was probably the leader of the leaf people. I think at the time that these would have merged, I think the Queen would have been, from the vibes I get here, one of the most important people in the leaf culture. Note that there are no leaves in the other parts of the game. Oh, White Lady. Oh. Oh. So it's that kind of relationship to a beautiful area. Oh my god, I'm here. Isn't this something? I'd not expected to discover so huge a stag station after that foggy descent. Yeah, we missed introductions with Coral. Yeah, they were impressive. Oh yeah, me too. She's eating shrooms. She's eating special shrooms. She's the only person I think that hangs out here. Yeah, it's a beautiful area, but the way that you engage with it is like you pass through it quickly and then you kinda just, there's a lot to unlock in Greenpath. We're gonna have a good time today. I just remembered a whole bunch of stuff to buy. You pass through quickly, like we just did, and nothing more. And then you backtrack later, and it's over relatively quickly, and it doesn't happen until much later in the game. So at that point, you're kind of flying over everything. That's kind of a hashtag Metroid moment. Hashtag Metroid moment affectionate when you're kind of plowing through Fog Canyon. That's right, where I am actually in my third Let's Play, my third playthrough right now. I got both of the Ancient Basin upgrades really early because I just enjoy getting those. So I haven't got any masks, any of like the 3 main masks, but I have those upgrades. I don't have much to buy, but it's good to be back. This house looks like Cornifer in such a cartoonish way. Oh, their house looks like my house. This is what my house looks like. This is what my room that I'm in right now looks like. It's like one room and then a ladder and then a bed bunk, like a nook. I don't have any spouse up there though. Hot springs are good. Oh, of course, Mantis Village. Right, it's full of unaligned murder creatures. And the only, like, organized civilization that I can think of down there probably wasn't worth running in on. Not to mention, Hera the Beast was, like, involved with Hollow Nest anyhow, so it's, like, whatever. Unless Hera the Beast also was not a local, so to speak, although I kind of get the feeling she was. Unless the spiders took that city recently. That sounds either really cozy or really difficult to navigate. Is that Deep Nest or Fog Canyon as I was describing it? Fog Canyon, I would say, even though you like travel to it twice, it's kind of simple from what I remember. Again, it's a hashtag Metroid moment, so you're just flying through it at that point. So it might be really quick and linear, or it might actually be kind of more interesting and I'm forgetting it, but I don't think it's terribly big. See, okay. These puzzles. I had thoughts. After last time we played, I had thoughts, because I mentioned upgrades in Hollow Knight not being very upgradey and not very rewarding, because most of them are just money, and money is very losable, and there's not much in the way of a replacement for, like, missile upgrades, health upgrades, that kind of thing. And then I thought, like, well, you know, like, if you added more heart pieces, you would have more health, and that would throw off the balance of the game. I always feel like there's just not that many heart pieces, because puzzles like this take so long to get to that they feel kind of sacred. Like, they're so imposing and powerful and intense, and, like, the piece of heart is so beautiful, and there's so few of them that they don't feel like normal pieces of heart, right? Like, normal pieces of heart are a little bit loose, so to speak. They're just everywhere. There's so many. You can just catch them up everywhere. They're not, like, super special. You can just kind of snack them up anytime. But these masks are like, whoa, I found a mask piece. Or, like, God forbid I found, like, a vessel fragment, you know, for my soul. There's just so few. Like, there's, like, one per area max. But, would I want more of them? Well, obviously, yes, because they're more exciting to get and rewarding to get for a puzzle than all of the puzzles that just give you money. But that would throw off the balance of the game. I don't know, I didn't really, like, fully consider that when I was kind of mentioning Neryl's criticism of the system, but Neryl never talks about the fact that you would need more upgrades, and maybe he doesn't care, but, like, you would need more upgrade systems to have more permanent upgrades, right? So I was thinking, like, there's not really much else you could do. Again, I view this as a very simplistic game where it's like soul, health, whacking things. There's not that many systems. So I feel like part of why Silksong is looking more complex with its, like, oh shit, it's gonna be a lot harder to get out than it was to get in. I feel like part of why Silksong has, like, quest systems and, like, upgrade systems and, like, little gizmos to use. Gizmos to find would be fun. More charms would have been a really good solution to this, actually. More charms would have been great. But again, charms augment a really simplistic combat system, so you can only go so far. And we do have pretty wacky charms in a pretty great quantity. But I feel like Silksong has a more complex looking combat system because you're gonna have more things to upgrade as you go. That's my thesis. I feel like they've kind of rebuilt the game. Ooh, that was lucky. I feel like they've kind of rebuilt the game to have more systems and complexity, so that there's more things to feed you as you explore. It's good to be fed. Because most games aren't as big as this game. And again, this all stems from how big the game is. It wouldn't be a problem to have these few upgrades. If it were a smaller game, they could be more numerous. There'd be less King's Idols. Oh, she was the ruler of Deep Nest. Oh, my apartment. Yeah, it's cozy and it's difficult. It's very cramped. The Weavers did come from somewhere else. Yeah, it didn't seem like the Weavers were incongruously a part of Deep Nest from what I remember. Versus the Queen's Garden. The Queen's Garden. It just felt very like, walk up and take that shit. Bruh, imagine trying to take control of the Mantis Village. Like, they're right next to you. They're right next to the fucking capital, and they weren't able to do it. Those dudes bite. They bite and they kick and they scream. Sorry, I don't know why I was like, I deserve to go and get a snack. I was like, I'm just gonna go take a bite of my Mick sandwich and just not put the stream on pause. And then I was like, oh, well, I have to put the orange juice in the fridge. So I just left you. Sorry. It's like, I gotta put the orange juice in the fridge or the ice cubes are gonna melt. I have too much executive function now. I am an executive function beast. I've gone the opposite way of how I used to be. My natural status as an autistic nerd. Yeah, see, that is my thing, Naoto-sensei. As much as I like to point out what characterizes Hollow Knight, so as to point out how much space other indie games have to be like masterpiece Metroidvanias, I only think in the end it makes the game more charming, and I have a video on that where I say exactly the same thing, where I say that Silksong seems to be going for a really different feel, and I think that that's going to be amazing because it has a really cool direction, you know? It's not just change for change's sake. I think it's going to be like a lethally acrobatic platformer, like they mentioned. I think it's going to be way more acrobatic and action focused, which makes for a separate game, and as I said in my video last year, a really, really exciting way to explore a gigantic, really, 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 really well-designed exploration map. It's going to be awesome, like tearing into this game at such a faster pace, but that also means that it's different enough that this game will have its own charm. And I think it's going to be a lot better than Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I think there's going to be similar comparisons because this game is so simplistic, and Silksong is basically going to be like imposing all of these more complex systems onto the same base game in the way that Tears of the Kingdom did. And I could picture a lot of comparisons like that and people being like, Hollow Knight's outdated, I'm only going to play Silksong now, and like, go you. But I think that there's going to be a lot more charm to playing as the Knight and having a really simplistic moveset and having a very chilled out, like, Studio Ghibli fucking vibe experience when you have the other option, right? It's like having, I don't know, like, two flavors of something. It's like chocolate and vanilla. Like, it's still such a good base game that unlike Breath of the Wild, which kind of just feels like Tears of the Kingdom with killer spider robots and with a more simplistic combat system, I think these are going to feel like two very distinct games and two very awesome games that people will play both of, that fit, like, and have their own character. I was gonna say, I knew which parts were the colonialism. Is that what Tanner does to a motherfucker? Yeah, I actually, I was very like, fuck you! Oh my god, no, that thing was so cute, and I roasted it. Oh my god, it's looking at me. This really is a very special area of the game for working on your burnout. Like, it actually feels so big, and like there's so much content to do right now. Even though usually I feel like I just rush through it. Like, hey, whatever. Green path, easy, GG. I'll beat them with this in an hour and 20 minutes. Now I'm like really feeling it and how evil I am for slashing at these things. No, yeah, I went from like constant, like fear of death dandery in my grad school experience to having to like work my dandery to be like manageable. Because I will say, my boss and my boss and my landlady, someone who I spent a lot of time with, my boss, my landlady, and my roommate, the person whose house I rented space from during the early Melovania years, you know, I will say, I don't want to grow up to be like her in certain ways. She's a very, very smart person, and I don't mean to like introduce her negatively, but she was never able to stop doing things. She was always on that dandery grind. Like, oh my god. Hearing her talk about vacations and stuff was so stressful. Oh my god. Just, I could easily grow up to be a dandery monster. I don't want to grow up to be a dandery monster. But now in Japan, everything is so much more slow paced. I just have so much more time to do things. So I'm really like, you know what? Dandery is not about doing things as fast as possible to me. I want to find a dandery that is really about balancing getting what has to be done with feeling good. And I want to feel good while I am optimizing, you know? In my mind, optimizing almost always leads to burnout, but true optimization, you feel good when you're doing it, and then you don't burn out, which is something I definitely think about, like making a plan to finish one econi in the next 2 years. When I've never made it past 11. I've never made it past chapter 11 because of burnout. Yeah, and I think it's really smart that it became its own game, because simply letting Hornet loose in this game, I mean, that'd be interesting, but I think making a new game to work around a more athletic character would be really interesting. They're gonna be like Mr. Castlevania and Mrs. Metroid. She's gonna be like Mrs. Metroid, and this is gonna be like John Castlevania with like the slower, more methodical slashing. Ah, it's so fun. Hornet does need a gun. Hornet needs a gun. Really bad. They're gonna be like John Castlevania and John X Castlevania and Johnette Metroid. It's gonna be beautiful. And life will begin again. Slow start ass area. Now I'm like really being critical of Forgotten Crossroads. It's an interesting angle. It's interesting that people arrived at that. Yeah, and playing Disgaea again is interesting because I'm like, I'm very touch and go with RPGs right now, but I'm really happy playing Disgaea 7, so I'm trying to find that balance. I just didn't have any fucking time for RPGs in grad school because like they always make me want to sit down for a few hours, and I never had that time. They would always make me want to sit down for a few hours, and they wouldn't be as fulfilling as an action game for me personally. So I just didn't really play them much for the last year. Although I sure did find time. I sure found time for some things, like Disgaea 6. Oh my god, what a fucking moment. But no, I have time on my evenings to play what I want for a few hours most days. Yeah, I'm trying to find that balance, find my dandery happy place with Disgaea 7. That sounds brutal. I think I was mentioning last time that the sound design and the contrast from the normal slashing combat made Vengeful Spirit feel like pulling out a pistol to me the first time, because it's just so much more violent and so much louder and more intense and sudden than any of the other moves. I was so fucking immersed playing this. I mean, the first time I played it, I was coming off like falling in love with Kirby for the first time. That was a cruel fall right there. I have a lot of rewalking to do. That feels random almost. Shit. See, I never fully understand this area. Don't you spew your cheese at me. I do love wandering and talking though. Oh, I feel very calm. Yeah, I was actually thinking yesterday, Niauto Sensei, about like I've kind of been wanting to play games that like shake things up a bit for my little cranium, like puzzle games and that kind of thing. And as much as I literally adore the atmosphere of Layton games, I've been having a hard time getting into my DS one. Maybe because I'm playing it on such a small screen. I don't know. Maybe just because it's like a text-based, story-based adventure, and I'm like an action addict at this point. But like I had no problem. I found a lot of time to play Lady Layton, and I know, like hashtag cringe or whatever. The Skyward Sword fan loves Lady Layton, but it was the only game that I played all the way through, and now I have the first two of the first trilogy. And as much as I love when I sit down and play Curious Village, it's just hard to like come back to it again and again. It's just, for me, it is such a stark contrast to go from what I usually play to like a text-based, story-based game. And also the puzzles are such like sit down and think about them that it's almost like 60 to 0 way too quickly in terms of like action and stuff. Like it's just like a completely different experience. So I've been trying to think about ways to like engage my cranium and play like a puzzlier game while kind of like finding a balance. Well, half of me is like, do I want to find a balance? Because I think about puzzle platformers and I'm like, okay, like it's one thing to play a game that's like reading a book, but what about like playing a game that's like a game while trying to read a book where you have to like randomly stop the action and the action takes a second seat or whatever to the puzzles? Would that be more fun? I don't really know. And then I'm like, well, Metroidvanias are fun. I mean, most of my Metroidvania time is replays, and I wouldn't exactly call Castlevania a head scratcher even when you play it for the first time. But like maybe I should try more Metroidvanias and just enjoy their puzzlier side. But yeah, I've been thinking about like games to play to tap more into like the puzzly, outside the box thinking, or at least like memory challenge type parts of my brain. Because I love the memory challenge and the puzzle language. I love a good puzzle language. Fuck you. I love a good puzzle language, and I like memory puzzles, so in a way, maybe Metroidvanias have been my puzzle fix, my brainial cranial fix, but most of the time it's brain dead. I mean, I do sometimes flex my creativity with Hollow Knight, like sometimes too much, making weird routes and stuff or challenges, but I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what I want. I don't know how I'm gonna get it. It's just kind of pondering and musing. Yeah, Noreen, it's gonna be wicked fascinating. I'm really glad to be kind of starting the journey back to Hollow Knight world, like well before Silksong. Because I've been like, bruh, if Silksong dropped June 2023, I'd have had no energy or time for it. Well, forget about time. I'd have had no energy for it, because I was still kind of like, I still am, like kind of weird on Hollow Knight. Though I will say, not to start multiple tangents, but I just sat around listening to music and looking at Hollow Knight art after last week, so it's working. It's working. That's the thing, is I'm not intellectually stepping in. I have no point of comparison. I have no point of comparison. I literally don't know what I'm saying when I say that I like Lady Layton. I have absolutely no idea. No idea. No point of reference. I don't know if these are puzzles for babies. I don't know if they're puzzles for chimpanzees. I don't know if, like, it has the most puzzles in the series. I don't know if it's, like, I have no idea what characterizes them because I have no point of reference. So I am making no intellectual statement or statement of quality on the game. It is simply, like, I played it, I love the atmosphere, I love the characters, and it made me smile. Hi, Hornet. Bye. No, I could fight you. We could fight, whatever. You have Cash App? What do you use for money? Fuck. No, like, I love the fucking game. I want to play Layton games so bad. I want to play Layton games so fucking bad. But, like, I just don't I don't make time to sit down and read books. Like, I've been doing it more lately, but I don't make time to read books. I could, I guess, but it's not natural. Not yet. Not yet. But, I mean, I got the world in my hands right now. I could make time to read books. The room. Okay, that... Now you're talking my language. That is a very interesting insight. I might like escape room type things. Like, that's a legit possibility. I've never ever tried that kind of thing. So, okay, we'll say, I think I like solving things more than creating things. And I don't know if that means that I should try to be more creative, but I feel like I don't like tactical RPGs as much as I thought I did. And it might have been mostly just like my RPG compulsion talking, because I have a very strong comp RPG part of my brain, compulsory RPG playing. But so much of it is creating, especially in Disgaea, where the challenges on each stage aren't very specific. You can kind of do whatever you want. I do like creating characters. I love building characters, but creating strategies, like, I can absolutely get very deeply into it, and I do often, but I don't know. I don't feel like I'm that creative of a person, or not even to make that judgment. But like games like Minecraft or sandbox games or Tears of the Kingdom, like I'd often rather be solving than creating. This is often where I am. I don't know if it's like a phase or I don't know, but an escape room sounds much more solving than creating, which is actually super appealing right now. Is it not? See, that would be fascinating. That might be like a 2025, like, really fulfilling thing. I don't think the DS is region locked. Oh, that's kind of sex on a stick. That's actually a really interesting idea. Yeah, Disgaea is hard Japanese. Disgaea has been an ass kicking. It really varies by character how much I can keep up. But, like, I'm not unhappy. Like, I don't know. There are times where I'm, like, a little tired, but short bursts, I guess. Short bursts of cutscenes where I know what's going on. It's just, like, kind of the specifics that I miss out on sometimes. But then there's some characters, she really is. There was a second where I was like, is Prolica even a foreigner? Like, I was like, I know she's a foreigner, but like, is Japanese even her second language? Like, is English actually her first language? And it's like, it's very obvious English is her first language and Japanese is her second language. Just the way she talks is like identical to me. Yeah, you're really right about that. I forgot kind of some systems that are in Disgaea 7. Like, I was almost just expecting another cut and copy Disgaea, and then I remember that, like, item reincarnation was gonna be a thing, and I'm like, yeah! And I think, auto battle has been really simplified in a way that I think will be very elegant. I think DI is back. I think demonic intelligence is back. I'll let you know. You know, I would only make the most simplistic DI in the whole world so that I could let them do auto run item world. Man, I will say auto battle plus demonic intelligence was really fun. That was really fun. But it did give Disgaea 6 a very bloated playtime on my Switches, which is like kind of tacky to me now because I love comparing playtimes. I love playtime. Oh my god! She refuses to come home! What? So I'm assuming this is Netherworld Expeditions, not Auto Battle? It can't be Auto Battle. What is it? I'm so glad you're not playing in Japanese. What is it giving you for a message? Has she grown so strong that she can't come home? I guess it's kind of like Pokemon. God, which, by the way, I have so much good to say about Dodecamax. Oh my god. It is a really funny spoof on a Pokemon thing, and it's actually a really, really good system. I really love it. It's really funny, and I really love it. Which is kind of what this guy is all about, isn't it? Oh my god, well, how is she not coming home? Please come home. She'll be real good when she comes home. I'm here to save you. Feed me. Feed me your children. Oh god. So it's fucking dead. What am I gonna do? I watched the Nichijou principal versus deer fight yesterday for the first time. I'm now on the Nichijou clip. Oh my god, I'm on the Nichijou funny clip algorithm on YouTube now. And I watched the principal deer fight for the first time. And like the state of paralysis that she's in is how I felt right there. Like there's a fucking bug, and so it's fucking dead. And there's a fucking bug, and so it's fucking dead. Soggy vagabond. Oh my god. What is going on there? I've never gone into an item expedition world. It's not a system I use a lot, but I've definitely never found a way to go and do actual gameplay in it. I don't know if I've ever sent you the Cool Ghosts video about Disgaea 5. It's like one of my very favorite. I forced some people to watch it at camp. It's one of my favorite videos, especially about Disgaea. It's just a guy who wandered into Disgaea 5 like I did, not knowing about Disgaea, and kind of doing a review of the series wholesale and like just how fucking insane it is to experience it the first time, which is such a treat to experience it for the first time. Just to experience the systems for the first time is insane. And he was like, the game's so addictive that, you know, you get tired of playing Disgaea, but then you can send people to play Disgaea while you're playing Disgaea in the item expedition world. And I'm like, that's the funniest phrasing I've ever heard for that. They're playing Disgaea 2 while you're playing Disgaea. Zote. Referred to by the diehard Hollow Knight fan as this guy. This guy. You know the Kickstarter lore about the Zote route, right? And how we're gonna get Zote song. Yeah, I wish I had clips or recordings of my first experiences. Like, they've toned this down, unfortunately. They've, like, extremely toned this down. But for the longest time, if you picked a character up, you could use tower attacks. So you could not just, like, pick up units and throw them, which is always really funny if you've played other tactical games, but you could make a stack of 5 people and then just beat the enemies with a stack of 5 people, and there were really funny animations. I don't know why they gave up on this in 3D, but they're still gone in 7. You could make a tower and just beat the daylights out of people with, like, a tower of 10 people. We used to do that in Grid Night, the canceled Grid Night. It was so fucking funny, and that's one of those things where I was like telling my roommates constantly, like, guys, you gotta see this. It's like Fire Emblem, but your units can pick each other up and then beat the other enemies down with them in a gigantic stack tower attack. Oh my gosh, so there was, if you look into the Kickstarter where, like, you know, the Hornet playable route is, there's also a playable Zote route achievement that people reached. I believe they reached it. I don't think it's gonna happen because of Silksong and because of the nature of a Zote route probably having been a joke, but theoretically it could mean Zote song. And these little guys are just like, I'm not gonna bother anybody. I'm just going for a walk. I gotta go to the store. The store's on this side of the platform, and it'd be better if I was over there. I'm not gonna hurt you, though. Am I stuck? Fuck this. Fuck you. Fuck okay. You're the meanest, Mr. Grinch. Your toenails are as long as swords. Your heart is an equation, your mind's an open book, and when you play chess, You use a slimy rook. Oh, Mr. Grinch, you're such an asshole. You never... I don't give a shit. Fuck this song. Fuck this song. Wait, who made that song? That must have been made for one of the animated film adaptations of The Grinch, because there's no way that Dr. Seuss just like snuck it in with sheet music. And that keeps pretty strongly in spirit with the spirit of, fuck me, of Dr. Seuss's writing, which was like kind of a great addition to the Grinch, like, you know, media universe. That was like a smart and knowing addition. This is that Dark Souls bullshit. That's why I don't play those games. That's not true, actually. I don't play them because they're 3D. And also, I'm still working on the whole Gothic thing. Like, I can't believe how little I used Soul. I mean, again, it speaks to the fact that, like, from a perspective of 70 feet in the air, you could call this game's combat simplistic, but when you're playing it, nobody fucking says that. Because you can play the whole game with just your nail and not feel bored, because it's a fucking masterpiece. But you replay it, and it's like, dude, how do you not use your soul? And I'm probably gonna get to a point where it's like, dude, how do you not use your charge attacks? Because I've really started to like my charge attacks. Like, not as much as the spells, but come on. Like, the fact that I played, like, 60 hours of this game and never was, like, Descending Dive Core, like, what the fuck? Look at this. My sister should be here. She should tell me about that phallic plant combo. Oh my god. Towers can teleport together? Teleport? 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 Who's teleporting? Wait. Are you using, like, the Esper's teleport move? Or who else has a teleport move? Piori. Wait a second. You're so smart. Oh my god, that makes me want to play Disgaea 6 now. I haven't found any teleport moves in Disgaea 7 yet, but there's multiple ones in Disgaea 6. You can make a tower, have the base... Oh my god, yeah, you should get, if you don't have one of the Esper people, the, like, androgynous Esper people. They have a great teleporting move. Yeah, that sounds like a really fucking good adaptation. Teleport squares. Oh, like on a geo-puzzle. Yeah, a geo-puzzle. But there are also rather common teleport moves in 6. Piori, who you'll meet soon, has one. And the Esper has one, but there's others. And I think I applied your theory to that as well. I think if you're carrying, like, the whole team, you could use that, and then next turn you can throw them and just unleash hell. I don't know if I actually do that in practice, though, because you really gotta wait a long time after using your move. But yeah, the tower can teleport together. That's really fucking smart. Yeah, there are teleport attacks. Yep, Piori has one. Well, I mean, they're not that uncommon. Like, actually, Samurai Girl. I think Samurai Girl has a sword move where she cuts 3 squares ahead and then she comes out on the other side. Then Piori, the Super Sentai you'll find soon, she has a similar thing, but it's longer. It's like 5 squares or so. But then Esper's, I think, can go like a 5 square distance and then do damage to, like, an area around where they land, which is one of my favorite moves. Oh, I felt that. This is so cool. Oh, I'm not numb anymore. This is such a cool game. Yeah, I know. I wanted to do a skip to stalk you faster. I don't know what I am. Although I don't know why she can't allow this. This is such a good boss fight. This is such a cool boss fight. Arrgh. This is such a cool move. This is such a cool move that they made a game about it. Arrgh. Oh. Ouch. Hey, Colin! Just punches you so hard that you have hearing, like, ringing in your ears. Hey, Colin! She's hard to read. It's like playing Smash. Shaw! Yikes. Like, the coolest move. Oh! The way she stopped early? This ain't a game for little kids. It's a game for big kids. You, Shaw. Yikes. No, 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 no. It's not your time. Back. You have to go back. Ah! Yeah, bite. Ah! Shaw with the freeze, and then she just braced one over my head. It's a later skill. It's probably her second or third skill. Yeah, Espers are new to that game. They come a bit later. There are not many units in that game, which in a way makes it a good starting game, but in every other way, it is a terrible starting game. I've remembered even more things recently that are weird about that game. They removed, oh my god, they made monster units function as normal units, and then they went back to functioning as monster units in Disgaea 7. The amount of things that they backstepped between 6 and 7 is legendary. Like, I know that they've said that they add mechanics willy-nilly, but I think in 6 they were just changing levers and dials willy-nilly, not really giving a shit what was gonna happen. Like, what? Why did they get rid of monster weapons? Why was my Prinny using a gun? When there's 7 games in a series and something is the same in 6 out of 7 games, and that game that's different is the 6th one and not the newest one, like, what the fuck? I could talk for hours about Disgaea 6. I got shot. Yeah, really bad. Wow, it's only been 1 hour. That's so fun. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break, like 10 minutes. See? I definitely still have the virus feeling today, and like, I really didn't want to let anything stop me from going to the idol thing, but I'm like, I probably shouldn't, because like, they'll be back. Like, all these groups will be back. It's just that like today feels special because it'd be my first time going to see like all the idols at the club, and it's like a really really good day to get out. But like, I'm not coughing, I'm not sneezing or anything, but like I know I'm sick. So it's like, if I care like 40% about not getting other people sick and 40% about resting and not being sick tomorrow, I probably shouldn't go. But like, it's also like a really random cold day today. It's like actually a break for once. And actually, it's already 30 degrees. But it seemed cold a minute ago. Yeah. But all that to say, it is colder than usual. And if it's not raining, I could explore my park. You know, I could keep this green path healing going, and I could say, you know what? Literally, these exact stacks of idols will be here next month, if not 2 weeks from now, and I can go to them, and then that will be my first time. It's hard, man. It's hard. I also bailed on seeing people at a Matsuri after work Tuesday because like it was getting later and later and later, and I was like, I don't want to be out at 11:30, and it sucked to say no to that, but like, you gotta do the wise thing. Me. Wisdom. Also, paying $30 and drinking alcohol to be there for like an hour and 30 minutes is not smart. And going to the city. Man. At least going to the park for the first time after getting immersed in greenpath with my friends would be like equally life-changing in a different direction. Yeah. Yeah, I know when I'm sick. That's the thing. I tweeted about this. There's something called the virus feeling, and I felt it behind my shoulders every single day that I was testing positive for COVID, even on the days when any normal person would have taken my test results and said that they were negative. I squinted at them, and I held them under light, and I saw the faint positive, and I felt it behind my shoulders. And then I woke up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever, ready to fucking explode on the morning of my flight, because nobody was stopping me from bringing COVID to Japan, by the way. It was all my conscious managing this, which was definitely worse. And I was like, you know what? I'm completely unsymptomatic. I'm fully unsymptomatic. I can mask. It's almost completely out of my system. But I feel bad about bringing COVID to Japan. I woke up at like 3 a.m., saw the galaxy in my hands, felt nauseous, felt so afraid, felt everything in the world. But I noticed I didn't feel the virus feeling. And then I did a test just for my own sake. Everybody was like, don't psych yourself out with a test before the flight. But I did. It was negative. I knew when COVID left. So I'll just say, I know I still have the fucking cold. It's just I don't have symptoms. And, man, I want to go see the idols. But also, like, this was kind of a tough week, to be honest. Like, I had so many stupid moments, like fighting my bank, and like, I guess you could say like a little bit of the initial warmth has been wearing off of starting off at schools, where like it's still super fucking fun and I have so many fucking stories and I love doing it and it gives me energy, but I was getting a bit more worn down by like what language barrier still exists. So if I'm standing there awkwardly and not talking to anybody for 5 hours, I could end up feeling like even more shit. But I said I was gonna be brave and talk to people and dance, but I don't know if I feel brave, so I guess it's not worth it. This is what happens when you take a hit of green path and you start to introspect. Parks are magical. Parks and idols. Boy, it is hard to pick between parks and idols. Holy shit. Naoto sensei. Dear sweet Naoto sensei, how long did you keep up with My Hero Academia? Do you know the character I have a story about? Did you make it to Lady Nagant? Get all the local idols to do a gorilla daibu in fucking this random park, like 2 train stops away from the city. Like, it's really all the city. It's supposed to all be the city, but like, I know that we're outside the real city. You call us a part of the city by name, but I know that only downtown is truly the city. She's so unpredictable. Oh! You won't show me twice. Damn! Shaw! Oh! Throwing in the towel so soon, are we? You sure you don't want to become my friend? Oh my god, why did he fall over? I felt that in my chest. Oh, did she just kill him? Did she just kill him? Wait! He's not animated as part of the background. There are a lot of corpses sitting around Greenpath. Sometimes they're like sitting as if they could still be enemies, but it's kind of, you kind of tell when they're part of the background. I never processed. I don't know, like maybe I kind of did. I never really processed that, like, she just killed this fucker. Like, she just killed this fucker. I swear to God, she just killed this. Oh my God, that's so sad. Oh, I feel that right in the center of my chest. Oh, people love that arc. I haven't gone back for it yet, though. You weren't too far away from that. There's no point to continue after that point, though. Unless you want to see the band arc, which is my favorite arc. But this is because I'm neurodivergent about Kaminari and Jiro. Normally, I don't think it's worth it. I mean, it's mildly worth it, but... God. This show got so bad. Oh my God. Just the lack of forward thinking and the mixed priority. There's no reason to bring Boku no Hero Academia into Greenpath. This is a special place. It's already polluted. I think she did. I really strongly think she did. Because why would it have just fallen over? And why would it look so much like part of the foreground? I don't know. I strongly think. I feel in my gut. Why is it so close? Why? Okay. What the fuck? Oh, I forgot about this. Would it seek to break the seals? They cannot be undone. They must be undone. Let us sleep, little shadow. Return to your darkness. Allow us peace. Fuck. They're like, oh. Get on the fucking ground. Get on the fucking ground. Why did they do that here? Why did they do that here? I couldn't tell you what part of that equation meant that the dreamers should come scream at us. Noreen doing the CSI work. No, I think that is... Oh. No, I think that's our nail. See, I think that's the nail on the back of their head. Back of their head, you know, like the back of their cloak or whatever. That actually feels pretty good. Shot me once, shame on you. Shot me twice, shame on me. Get good. That's okay. We're all practicing here. Yeah, Hollow Knight is just... It's really its own damn thing. As much as I kind of complain about it being its own damn thing, being a problem for fans of other Metroidvanias, it is really its own damn thing, isn't it? It is just painting with all the colors and all the care in the world. It took this formula and just fucking danced with it. They were like, hold up, I got you. I know what we're gonna do. Oh, ho, ho. Is that a Naushka of the Valley of the Wind reference? I sit. I don't know how to process the part of me that was expecting to go and drink alcohol and see 6 idol groups after this, just not getting to do that. It's just, what do you... Maybe next time. I guess there will literally be next time, otherwise I would probably go, but... That thing in the background looks like the new Slug legendary Pokemon. The green and the green and dark type. The grass dark type. It's like extremely green path, actually. We can't post pictures in here, can we? I would definitely post that Pokemon. It is so green path. Idol? Idol! That bench has got the light particles. Do benches normally glow like that in this game? I like that this bench seems slightly angled towards Quirrell to make it more of a cozy-like thing. I'm gonna miss him forever in a minute once he's gone, and this is forever half of an experience as a bench. Not that I'm likely to come back too much to this area. I'm just gonna be like, is that a Naushka of the Valley of the Wind reference? And then I'm gonna leave because I'll have like every power up at that point. Oh. Naoto, I don't mean to interrogate. I do not mean to like interrogate or belittle your experience of heartbreak and radicalism and like having your whole world shifted inside out from the Pokemon Company's heartlessness that you're going through. But how have you gone through all of this and not known that Gen 9 is happening? You have to know that Gen 9 happened last year, right? Like that's why people are talking about it again. Gen 8 happened in 2019, and that was a significantly more negative outcry, backlash thing. It was like titanically large, and that's when a lot of us went through the radicalization and we're like, holy shit, this company has no soul. This company is completely beholden to its schedule, and wait, it's the biggest media empire in the world. But a lot more people went through that process with Gen 9 in 2022. And like there were like Tamahiro's essay and stuff, and now people's consensus has solidified on crunch, crunch, crunch. But like my friends and I were going through this with the exact same evidence and seeing the exact same thing 3 years ago before the Sinnoh remakes. The Sinnoh remakes were actually my peak of cynicism before Gen 9. So it's been this way for a long time, but No, yeah, a ton of new Pokemon just got dropped. It's Gen 9. Oh, yeah, it's still just Scarby. Sorry, it's not new in the sense that it came out this year. I figured you would know Gen 9 was out. It's new as in it came out last year, which is still new to me. No, so what they do now, I can explain this to you in grim detail. What they do now is instead of doing like an Emerald, a Platinum, a Black and White 2, although Black and White 2 is cool, they do DLC. That's kind of their like step towards like a sustainable dev cycle, is that they do DLC for the base games and they market the hell out of them, and then they're satisfied with making that their quote mainline game for the year, which is honestly like for them definitely a step in a more sustainable direction. That's what they did for Gen 8 and it's what they're doing for Gen 9. It's boring as fuck because I mean there's kind of that constant hope that they're about to announce like the new game that they have been spending time on, but it's not like there's been no time for that. There's been no time for that. Nope. Nope. Yeah, no, they're not. The generation cycle hasn't sped up since Gen 6, but it really shouldn't have sped up in Gen 6. It should have just stayed slow, because now they would have a lot less issue. But it is like, I will say, most of the people talking about the Pokemon Crunch problem are primarily fans of the games, I think, and they don't have like that deep connection with the extra media. And the other media is really intense. Like I spend more time collecting cards probably than playing the games, like definitely for sure. And I'm not even an anime fan. Like the TCG and the anime, they have to plan things so far in advance. I don't know how far in advance, but pretty fucking far. So it is like, you know, it does all come down to the Pokemon Company deciding to continue what they're doing. Absolutely, positively. But you have to look at, like, they really are strapped into a machine of their own creation. And one that's been going since the beginning, right? I think my friend who was like a Pokemon nut, she told me that they made this vision for like long-term sustainable Pokemon back in Gen 1 once they had all the success on their hands, and they haven't left it. The only thing that they've changed is, you know, all the same media is getting made. Look how spiky this shit is. All the same media is getting made every year with iterations based on the new generations, but all that's changed is that they sped up the generations by a year when they kind of switched to what I call the modern games with Gen 6. They went to 3D and then they sped things up, which really was the beginning of all these problems, because that's when things started to look like dog shit. Like at that point they needed more time and they started giving themselves less, and they just haven't changed anything despite having to manage the 3DS to Switch transition. Yeah, it sucks. But for me, I was already starting to lose interest in the RPGs, unfortunately, just because I've been losing interest in RPGs. But yeah, I actually really like Legends Arceus. I haven't played much more of it since the winter, but I really like it, and I'd love for the next one to not be so MS Paint. Be a little less PowerPoint presentation, you know what I'm saying? A little more Windows Movie Maker. That's what I'm talking about for games. They're just like throwing putty at the wall, yeah. I don't know if they have the ability to fix those games. There's like this discussion, there's like this belief in a patch for the performance. And like, yeah, performance patches have happened. Disgaea 6 got one. But like, they have a bevy of problems. And also, I don't know if you watched Arlo's video, but he put out like a Pokemon cynicism end of the world kind of thing from the perspective of somebody who has been going through this deeply since Gen 8, and he was one of the loudest people, not necessarily calling for people's heads, because like the people themselves were in a riot. This wasn't even COVID yet, and we were in a full-blown riot as a community. Oh my god, that was an insane time. That was literally an unbelievable time. Preceding some truly unprecedented times. And he just made one of the most viewed, I think, reviews of Sword and Shield, calling them like a cynical piece of shit over the course of 2 hours. And now he's kind of mellowed out, and he actually loved what's at the core of Scarlet and Violet, but he just dropped a pretty decently edited, like a decently prepared, like serious video, like yesterday morning, just kind of like, hey, by the way, this is still a gargantuan problem. And that's actually, I think, what's most interesting to me is when people feel like a game has lost its soul. Because, I'm still kind of going through it. And, did I get a charm? Oh, yeah. I like Thorns of Agony. Autism hands. It's just like, I really like the themed areas that give you a charm based on the area and like that. Oh, it's so cool. Oh, it's so satisfying. Oh, look at these fucking mushrooms. I think the point in which people think that something has lost its soul is really interesting because it's hard. Because, I've been thinking a lot about AAA games. I've delayed my video about June 2023 because I need to sit with it more and think about what I really want to say versus just, touching on the news as quickly as I can. I think it's that question of soul, right? Because I love supporting small creators, right? I love being involved with indie games. I think it's just amazing. And it's there are so many factors. But I think, besides simply wanting to, overthrow capitalism for the sake of it, I think I want to overthrow capitalism so that things can have soul, right? I think I like supporting games that have lots of soul, not simply for the ethic of small versus large, but because small has soul at the moment. Once small loses its soul, I think you gotta kind of call it. You don't often have to do that with indie games, but, there are more issues to AAA dev than not having soul. And sometimes AAA things can show a lot of soul. But it's complicated, right? I guess to me, I think soul is probably the most interesting thing to me about games. And it's why I love Disgaea 7, and I love moments where it feels like a company has really put something deep into a game, right? And it's funny because, I will take, any criticism of Skyward Sword. I'm very critical of the game myself. It's just that I like it. But when my friend said that she saw it as soulless very confidently, I was like, holy crap! I could not disagree harder. There are moments, there are elements that feel kind of like seeing behind the curtains, and it feels a little bit just like a little bit of a product. But I'm talking moments, there are elements that might feel a little bit heartless and soulless, but holy shit. No! Skyward Sword is not a soulless game. It's just a game it's just a game that's a little bit hard to forget that it's a game, which I don't personally see as a lacking of soul. It's an issue of genre. I wouldn't call a Professor Layton game lacking soul because they choose things from a fucking menu instead of an immersive open world. You really gotta... There's nuance to things, man. It's not all about immersion. It's not all about not being able to see the seams. Something can have seams a dozen and be packed with soul. For soul! Welcome to Melovania. It's all for soul. Yeah, exactly. It feels like being at an amusement park, which coming off of an immersive... So she's a Twilight Princess person, and Twilight Princess is the formative game for her. So, it's immersive, it's full of heart, it's incredibly real. But, Skyward Sword feels like an amusement park ride sometimes by comparison. But it is not lacking soul. Holy fucking shit. I don't mean to be dramatic, but there's a lot of games I consider my favorites because they were the ones that comforted me when I was really in a bad place in 2021. It's not a surprise that Return to Dreamland, Skyward Sword, and Disgaea 5 and Hollow Knight were in the mix when I was coping. They were some of the most soulful homey games that I had. So, not to get very extra about Skyward Sword, but, seeing behind the seams, right? I think that's a moment, or seeing behind the scenes, seeing behind the scenes by seeing the seams. I understand that being something that makes the game feel more soulless, and it's why I don't feel fucking anything when I look at Scarlet and Violet. And I think that it's fascinating because it does change the graphics discussion from like the Xbox PS5 arms race to something different, right? And we're like, oh, we love our Nintendo games because they have good direction. Well, what's so good about that? It's because the games still feel soulful, even when they look like Breath of the Wild compared to Shadow of the Titan of the Ragnarok or whatever the fuck. It's not simply specs or visual appeal, it's that they're conveying something real to us. And I think that people like Legends Arceus, and I do too, because they're trying to convey something very real and intentional and beautiful from it. And I could feel something beautiful from it, trying to get through. But yeah, I think that is really something about art where, like, when the thing itself is shoddy, you also see just, like, the void, you know? I look at Scarlet and Violet and I see the fucking void. It's just emotionally blank to me. The greater mind. Oh, okay, so that's Un. I was about to be like, what the fuck is the greater mind? That's Un. Do you think they could ever do like a Silmarillion kind of Hollow Knight game? Where they take kind of, I mean, we'll have to see like what gets established for gods and stuff like that in Farloon and Silksong. But like, I'm kind of into Un and like the Void Monster and like the Radiance. I'm kind of into all of these higher beings like as characters. Like I would play a game that's like a Silmarillion about the creation of all these worlds, like a more meta one about the gods. That'd be really cool. Yeah, thank you, Noreen. I think that's kind of like me trying to put a finger on like what art really is, you know? Yeah. And it's funny because isekai is like the most cynical thing in the world right now. It's extremely overdone, but it can feel magical. Like we all have good memories of Mystery Dungeon. It can be immersive. No, yeah, I don't know. Arceus really means something. And it bleeds into the gameplay. Which is nice because it was pretty hard. It was pretty hard to realize a couple days ago that, like, I mean, I knew, but to process more deeply that the remakes of my beloved childhood games got pretty much churned out as bus sludge, just like fucking garbage under the wheel of an automobile during the era of Max Crunch Pokemon. Like, the true remakes of Diamond and Pearl are dog shit. I like them, but they're dog shit. They're terrible games. But Legends Arceus, like, that's the real... Like, that's what I wanted. I didn't know that I wanted it. And the crazy thing... Maybe we've got our number one. Maybe I'm gonna love it. It's gonna beat Rayman Legends. I mean, you know, it's... It's a very soulful, intentional return to Sinnoh, which is like, you know, do you really want a Sinnoh game that's just like injected with soul drugs? Or do you want something more crazy that goes deeper? And also the gameplay holds up with you better as an adult because you like action RPGs more than RPGs. It's kind of perfect. I just didn't have time to process it because I was writing my master's thesis when I played that game to whatever degree I've played it. Who puts fucking butterflies? Urgh! Who puts butterfly plants in the background shadows of their game? That is beautiful. Who does that? I booted up Triple Deluxe yesterday because I'm starting another replay of it, even though I'm double dipping for the year, and I haven't even replayed Planet Robobot since my last replay. But oh my god, I just hadn't played it in a while, and I'm like, who puts this many stars and beautiful things in their fucking menu UI? I had to like stop and just take in the menu UI. I think it might do damage. I think it might compete with Planet Robobot as my second favorite of the big three now, which is so good because it had been, oh, look how his legs curled up. That's so sickening. It had been like the little sibling. It had been the runt of the litter of the big three Kirby games for me for many years, but replaying level 1 and 2, I was like, you could be my favorite. Which at the moment would make it my favorite game of all time. Because currently the number one of the big 3 Kirby games for me is my favorite game of all time. I love Kirby games. Well, it's Lifeblood. It's Lifeblood, but like, there's no way I can hit it. There's no way I can hit that, right? Unless it's like a hidden Mickey, and I never knew that. Because I knew it was Lifeblood, but like, it's not blue. It's not in the foreground, or it's not in my ground. It's in the foreground. There's no way I can hit this. Oh! That's amazing! I never knew there was Lifeblood here. Oh my god. There should be Lifeblood everywhere. There should be more Lifeblood. I mean, maybe once I find more Lifeblood, I'll feel this way. This is a really nice way to inject some juice into greenpath. Because I do feel a little bit bored by greenpath, like even just now. Like there's a lot to do, but again, I've just sped through this area so many times. It's really just like trying to process, as I do my autism hands, like it's really just like trying to process the background and all the artistry of it. As a game area, I feel like I'm just kind of walking and slashing things, but it's also very twisty and interesting. Noreen being completely shook. Yeah, that is a gigantic development, Noreen. It is absolutely huge. Yeah, wait, I don't have to do this. Yeah, Triple Deluxe has firmly been the little sibling of the big 3, but it will just, I mean, when I first played that game, I hadn't revisited Return to Dreamland in a while, so I thought it was going to be like my number 1, and then Return to Dreamland kind of like outdid it. Yeah, but oh my god, no, Triple Deluxe. I was wondering at the beginning of this year, because I hadn't played it in a long time, if Triple Deluxe was even like a, I was kind of wondering if Triple Deluxe could even fend off Forgotten Land, because Forgotten Land is firmly the 4th favorite game now for me. But now I don't even know if Planet Robobot can hold number 2. So yeah, I've been trying to process my my current top 10 games. I'm thinking I might, or my current top 20 games is what I'm trying to think about, because I've had this funny mess where I had a sketch last year for a top 10 games and like a less intense top 20 games, but I had so many new games from grad school start to process as like approaching top 10 but not in it, like a seriously large amount of games. So now, like, fuck those games that used to be top 20, now that's the top 30, and what's really interesting is this incredibly competitive top 20. So to try to make sense of things, I tried to eke out like a top 5, like some new structure, because I had been saying, and this is all very sketch, like I won't make a video with this for a long time, so I won't like spoil you, but I had been saying top 4, Return to Dreamland, Disgaea 5, still there even as an RPG, Hollow Knight, even though I hadn't played it in ages and I was totally burned out on it, I still knew it. Hollow Knight top 4. And then Planet Robobot is very special. But after that, it was like, I guess Skyward Sword belongs up there, and I still think it's in the discussion, but it's hard. It's a harder one to breach now, because these games are really competitive, and most of them are much more like my genre than Skyward. But you know, in a way, this is actually a nice break from greenpath. I like this as pacing now that I think about it. Yeah, so I had those 4. And then, yeah, Triple Deluxe was like around, like she hung out right beneath it. But now I think there's a top 7, which is Return to Dream, in no particular order, Return to Dreamland, Hollow Knight, Planet Robobot, Disgaea 5 is still up there. Splatoon as a concept. I don't think I can separate the games, but when you put them all together into this one like live service experience with like Octo expansion and stuff in it, it's absolutely this like top tier. So Kirby, Hollow Knight, Disgaea 5, Splatoon, and then well, more Kirby. Triple Deluxe, Kirby, that's the name you should know. Hollow Knight, Disgaea, Splatoon, and this is the most like barely getting in, But I gotta say Tropical Freeze. Yeah, I mean, you heard me talk about it. You heard me talk about it in the top 10 video last year. Tropical Freeze is probably cutting ahead of the other top 10 games now. I gotta find the right time to replay it, but that game is just that. I think I can comfortably say that it's like auditioning to be part of the top 7, and then it goes to hell. It's like 14 games I can't rank. Like 14 of them have equal vibes. Okay, one's down. Don't you Metroid me! That was a Metroid moment. No, legit. Like, when Side Order comes out, like, maybe I could rank this fucking mess. I mean, I wouldn't call the top 7 a fucking mess, but the general top 20 is a mess. That was kind of far away. I will say, like, I don't know. Obviously, I gotta revisit this game. I am currently revisiting it, but I could see Silksong being more of my style than the original Hollow Knight. I don't know. I could picture it being something where, like, Silksong gets me more deeper into Hollow Knight. Wait. Okay. I could picture Silksong dragging me even more deeper into Hollow Knight, and then thus, like, reminding me why I love this game so much. But I don't know, if it's like melancholy, slow, methodical versus like kind of intense, more colorful, more involved Silksong, I could picture myself being a Silksong person and just having Hollow Knight and Silksong be kind of similar to the big 3 Kirby games, just as like a fucking unshakable quintet, basically. But yeah, no, I could strongly see myself just like comparing me and Castlevania versus me and Metroid. Like, I could strongly see myself being a Silksong person. Ugh. No respect for Lifeblood. When Side Order comes out, yeah. I mean, at that point, maybe I could just call Splatoon 3 one of my favorite games of all time, but I'm kind of lumping them because I haven't played almost any one, but I like it. And 2 is weird. 2, I just have a lot of memories and like hard memories tucked into from the apartment. Ugh, man, I can't go out. I'm sick. Got that viral feeling. Oh, fuck off. I guess this is Howling Cliffs. That tick-tick did not need to be spanked so hard. It could have just lived. Literally Mummy Me Tanaka HD. Oh, you're still dead. Okay, this is kind of cringe. Okay. Are you gonna investigate? Oh shit, wait. Gas smells like rotten eggs? Oh, I gotta research that. Because I closed my shower to do like drying, because that's how you do drying in Japan. And I noticed an egg smell, and I'm like, what the fuck is the egg smell? And it was only briefly, but still dead? Fuck off. Yeah, I noticed that, and I'm like, I think egg is one of those things you shouldn't smell. It's not common at all, but I should keep an eye on that and call somebody. in Nihongo. Yeah, I don't know about the musical cue. I don't think we need to do the musical cue. This jump is cringe. Yeah, what the fuck? Wily E. Coyote, I am summoning you. Yeah, I gotta research, like, yeah, the smell. I kind of knew it was, like, sus. I'm like, this egg smell, I think I've heard about this. Okay, yeah, at least I'll know. I'll weep, but I'll know. I'll be like, fuck the Baldur's Shell badge. That was the last time I ever heard anything from Naoto Sensei. Imagine the Baldurs having an association with, like, your friend dying. They'd be like, I'm sorry? Like, we're, like, really fucking sorry, but we're just, like, you know, mobs. Like, it's not, I don't know how to make it up to you. And I'd be like, you don't, like, have to do anything. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. I love your house. Thank you for having me. Thank you for sheltering me with my COVID during the thunderstorm. That was literally life-saving, and I'm so glad I didn't get you sick. Your final chat. Why have I not put Magnet on? I guess I'm just enjoying grabbing up all the items. Yeah, I've never felt very strongly about it. Look at this little guy. He's just got the fucking, he's got the fucking leaves and everything. Oh my god. The house proper. The proper house. I managed to get a couple of Pikmin in Pikmin Bloom while I was at your house, which makes me happy. Someday they'll return to their ancestral home and they'll walk across the ocean to your house in your town. That was so fun. Oh, your Links Between World poster and all your fun stuff, your Hollow Knight art. Oh, it was so relaxing. I was like, there are other people like me. Honestly, everything about camp feels like Across the Spider-Verse. I don't know if you've watched it, but we watched it together on an off day. And I was just like, I couldn't possibly feel more like this is a parallel to camp than I do. Just like having all of these friends with like the same very specific experience of being a sensei and being completely irreparably scattered. Like having such similar interests too, and so much similar stuff going on, but being like fully hopelessly scattered across the Americaverse is just like, oh, it's such a feeling in my chest. So I feel like I got to like sneak into like the dimension that you're from, where it's like another dimensional sensei who's like very similar to me, but like has her own life. It was just so crazy. One down. This is super fun. And again, it feels like pulling out a gun because it's so strong and it also like overrides stuff. Oh, the way they die is like, oh, achingly sad. You watched it? Please find a better charm before you die. Well, we already got the thorns. I like thorns. What's the best charm we can find on this stream before you die? What can we do? You're the one who knows. Need a better charm. Oh, I'm glad you like it because it was literally July 1st, so that was when I couldn't really like stop from processing the fact I was moving to Japan and like very functionally going through like the warp and being completely removed from everybody who I know and love. So yeah, I was doing a lot of projecting during that movie, which was also extremely immersive, which really helped that. I made a extremely in-depth meme. I can't share images on here, can I? I really just can't. So I made a funny meme. Okay, so let me explain. So Alucard is in... He's a vampire, so he's in a lot of Castlevania stuff. He's like timeless, so he's known many Belmonts, and he is, he's the most famous Metroidvania one, obviously, because he's from Symphony of the Night, which was the first Metroidvania, so to speak. It was the first Metroid-themed Castlevania, and that's where the distinction, that's where the word Metroidvania comes from. It's actually for distinguishing, or was this some guy trying to distinguish between Castlevania games versus making a genre? Anyhow, now we call them something else. Anyhow, he's the Castlevania, Metroidvania guy, right? And he's in the current, well, he'll be in both, but he's in the current Netflix Vania series, and he works with Trevor Belmont, who starts off as just this, he's just depressed because at that point, all of the Belmonts had been hunted to death because they were like an important line of monster killers, and the monsters didn't like that, so they were hunted to death. So he's just this drunk, depressed shell of a man. He's somewhat empty, you might say. He's just kind of violent and wanders around and just like engages with things, just gets into bar fights, hunts for things, I guess, just pummels whatever he finds. So I made a meme of Hornet and the little ghost meeting the cast of Castlevania and being like, oh my god, like pointing at Alucard, like that's him, like that's the guy, that he's your role model, he's the one you look up to. And then the little ghost is like, yeah, you're right, Trevor Belmont. Because I hadn't played Hollow Knight in a long time, and then I played a little bit and I'm like, what does this remind me of? And I'm like, I feel like Trevor Belmont. I don't feel like Alucard. I feel like Trevor. Like, the little ghost just wanders around and beats the fuck out of whatever they walk into. Like, they're so fucking strong. And they just, like, during that fight, literally, during this fight, I was like, dude, I feel like Trevor. I'm just like, who are you? Fuck it. Let's throw down. Just, like, belligerently going at these random people just because they're here. It's just so violent. And they're just so, like, empty. I don't know. They just wander around this sad land and just kill shit. Like, Little Ghost is so much more similar to Trevor than Alucard. I mean, there's, like, a similar arc that the Little Ghost is on to Alucard, for sure. But it just feels, like, minute to minute, so much more like a drunken warrior. Buying Shaman Stone. I will. Can I get to Salubra without Mantis Hook? Can I get to Salubra with the Mothwing Cloak? Is that what this upgrade level is called? Yeah, it's definitely Mothwing. Yeah. Oh, good. Well, maybe my smell of egg next to my oil thing, my gas thing, was or is it oil or gas? It's gas, isn't it? Are they the same? I literally don't know. Mine was very close in proximity to my gas, so I might not have gotten away so lucky. But I don't know, maybe that's just what the shower smells like when I leave the hot air fan running for the whole day and night. Okay. I am rich. And I think there's a little bit more pillaging to be done in Greenpath, so I think I can peace out. Oh yeah, I gotta do the moss bottle. I want to do the moss whale. The moss whale, Moby Dick or whatever. Moby Thicket. Alright, this is Hornet. Oh, we got the hiccups on stream. Is this my first time having hiccups on stream? I don't know. Natural gas, oil. I thought it was... No, it's gas. I'll keep a nose out. I'll keep a nose out. Yeah, I have. Hello. They're so expensive. They're so expensive. This will be a fair walk. Hello, Zote. While you were hiding here in your dingy little village, he doesn't know who we are. I did not know that he legit didn't know who we were. Okay, I'm gonna eat some of this fucking catering. McDonald's literally catered. Like, we have so much damn food to eat right now. We. It's only one of us who can eat it. I'll be back. Okay. This guy. So yes, we're all eating the breakfast set together. So news flash. A lot of multiple things just happened while I closed my phone. One is that some people from the camp Discord came when I shared Hollow Knight, which makes me so happy. Now I might plug it there more. Maybe we'll get more regulars from the camp crew. Somebody from second half came in and was like, I liked that, and then like pieced, and I was like, yo, thank you. And then Rico Sensei came and watched and didn't say anything, which makes me so happy. I love her. Aside from that, well, I was gonna say, like, it's nice that, like, such a chill, reflective game that's, like, fun, and honestly one of my favorite games that I'm just struggling to engage with emotionally at this point. Wouldn't say struggling, but it's a long story, I guess. It's nice that that's something that, like, brings so many people out, you know, and is, like, the most appealing, popular one. I must carefully hone my relationship with the popular game and, you know, its power for bringing buddies together. It's certainly something. It's nice to like popular things sometimes. Aside from that, so, peel your ears, Naoto Sensei. The sequel or the next game from the Gato Roboto people, I literally just saw delayed to 2024. Like, I swear to God, it was in literally Devolver. The developer Devolver did a delay direct where it was like all of their fucking delays, and this game was delayed, but it just got a release next Friday. Friday the 13th, isn't it? Is it not? No, it's not. It's not Friday the 13th, but it's coming out on whatever the 13th is. It looks incredible. It looks incredible. I've got a number of games that I just saw kind of announced that look really cool for next year. But this is the first one that's tomorrow. I think I'm going to play that game. Like, at this current pace, I can probably finish my current Metroidvania and then play that. It's called Gunbrella. It has a noir vibe, which I've never seen in a 2D platformer. And it's got this really charming and fun-looking gun umbrella. It's this game about using a gunbrella, which actually Splatoon has already done, but maybe they're pulling from a common tradition of gunbrellas. Either way, watch your back at night, Rayman. Watch your back at night, Rayman L. Legends. I love that fucking game. Oh my god, I love Rayman Legends. But Gunbrella, I'm gonna play Gunbrella. I wasn't sure what I was gonna play in September, so like, this is kind of fucking perfect. And I'm kind of building up like serious Metroidvania momentum, which I've never had. Like, I usually have to like plan out my 4 or 5 games for the year, like 8 months in advance because I'm so damn busy. Yeah, check it out. I think it's gonna slap. I mean, now I'm gonna be writing the Gato Roboto script. Maybe I gotta hurry the Gato Roboto video. I mean, I'll probably be replaying Gato while I'm playing Gunbrella at this rate. Wow, that's crazy shit. Oh my god, that's crazy shit. Oh my god, wait. Autism Hands. At the end of my script, which I showed you, Naoto, I say that maybe when Gunbrella comes out, there'll be buzz about Gato Roboto. I'm gonna be part of that buzz. Oh my god! Oh my god! I kind of want to get the Gato video out. Oh my god, that would mean replaying a lot of Gato Roboto, at least the first area, but I wanted to replay it. Oh my god! Oh, fuck idols. I'm gonna play Gato Roboto. What am I gonna do? I only need like 20 minutes of footage. The script's not done, but I have the fire. I've got the soul for the video. I got the weird video clips for the oh my god, I think it's becoming Doinksoft month. I gotta sit with this. I'm assuming this game's gonna be amazing. Oh my god. I did not think we were gonna get the year of Doinksoft. Wow. Oh, September. What a good What a good month for that game. T-Cell. I have never connected with this one. I will say I'm getting a taste for combat. I remember titling a video about that during my Let's Play. I was like, the Night Path or something like that. The combat's so fucking fun for being simplistic. On one hand, it's like, this is a pretty simplistic combat system. On the other, it's like, we are reaching near Nintendo levels of elegance and simplicity. It's all about perspective. I still haven't put on my magnet. And I still have to learn how magnets work. I've mostly been reading about electricity and electric fields. You know, it's nice destroying things in the background. I do wish that they dropped things, though. I definitely prefer destroying things in the background in Castlevania. But I was realizing this kind of hits the same vibe. I would take less breakables with more actual things, but again, this doesn't have enough systems for a thing to drop. Oh, bye. An oopsie has been made. Yeah, I spent a little bit of time with the textbook, and there's a nice sequence of chapters on all of the concepts that I wanted to kind of understand better. So I started with like audio, waves, hearing, that kind of thing. Then I reviewed a little bit of electric fields and stuff like that. Most of what I read on Wikipedia was like electric fields, electricity, charges, movement, like comparing the force of, whatchamacallit, columns force there. One with like, you know, electric charges moving. Comparing how much fucking stronger that is than gravity and stuff like that is something that keeps coming up. You know, I've been looking at applications like old radios. I think I'm becoming interested in old radios and how they impacted culture, and like both like the physicality of old radios and like more up my alley, like the cultural impact of having international like worldwide communication for the first time. That is something I could definitely do more secondary, like, well, not secondary scholarship in, but like reading on. The curiosity has been lit. I love seeing how things that came to, you know, define the modern world, how it was like when they were introduced. That's why I like the Edo period. But no, in terms of physics concepts, it's just kind of this loop where it's like it started with radio, but then it became about energy, but then it's like magnets, and then it's like energy magnets, and it's just like this big loop. And there's like 9 chapters in a row in this textbook that all kind of build to the same idea. Waves, electricity, magnets, energy, like it's all this stuff that I don't know where I'm going with it, but like it interests me and I want to understand it better. I feel a like strong connection to it. Yeah, it's becoming interesting to me. Oh, it's so sad when their legs curl out. I really am like. You mentioned like the tonal whiplash of Kirby to Hollow Knight, and like yes, but at the same time, like there's such similar games to me. Like there's something so similar about Kirby and Hollow Knight, like. It's like, I don't know, I think I honestly just really, really value games that are fleshed out, like 2D games that are really fleshed out. Like there's just so much detail and there's so much to pull you in. So I guess it's the immersive factor, but there's so much more than that I think unifies Hollow Knight and Kirby to me. Like they're yin and yang. Yeah, thank you. It's because I'm hopelessly so I once pissed somebody off because I said that I thought My Hero Academia had a very like like well-defined system of magic, because quirks, it's like kind of like, it's like X-Men, like people have mutations, so it's like a mutation society, right? And some people's mutations make them capable of doing superhuman things, and that's why there's a superhero society. And because I hate this fucking author, but because he likes body horror and stuff, he will design these fucked up creatures like Jiro, who have quirks that are tied into their design and their personality and how they fight. And that's so cool, because my favorite characters are based on an electricity quirk and a sound quirk. And those two, and they're written as, like, you know, kind of another yin and yang. They're definitely yin and yang. Like they're definitely a duo and a unit. And like they don't, they don't have like quirk combinations. Like they don't like use their sound and electricity together or anything. It's actually her other better ship friend who does like have a quirk that synergizes with her more. But it's just like, the fact that, like, instinctively the author felt this connection. What the fuck is up there? The fact that, like, there was this instinctual connection between electricity and sound interests me. And there's just so much, like... Oh, yeah, yesterday I was reading about sound waves and earthquakes. And Jiro does learn an earthquake technique. And it doesn't go very far, but she does pull it off. And I think she puts... Because the thing is, it's not just sound, right? Like, she's not... One of her teachers is an orca whale. He's just like, a lot of the mutations make people half animal, and that's a whole thing. There's a whole can of worms. And he emits sonar because he's half orca, killer whale. And he teaches her and another kid in her class how to use their quirks to do better recon, because he does sonar, and he's like a pro hero. And he teaches her what I think is her greatest skill, and which kind of ifs me off about her losing one of her ears, is I think her greatest skill was the orca ship, because she doesn't just have good hearing like a bat. She doesn't just like put out sonar. She has her jacks. So it's not simply really good hearing or being able to put out sound waves, but she has these indestructible jacks that she can plug into things like walls. And very early, like the earliest application is plugging it into a wall to hear where people are in a building, which she's just gotten better and better at. But they were dabbling in her putting sound waves into the ground, and then she paired it with somebody who was just like a strong quirk generally, who would hit the ground, and then that would cause a small earthquake. But I don't know, like from what I'm reading about earthquakes, like it's hard because like supposedly, now I'm rewriting multiple scenes, but supposedly so the thing is, it's not just that she puts out sound, it's that it's biological, right? So it is the sound of her heartbeat. That's the sound that's coming out of her body. So her heartbeat comes out of her jacks. So, you know, that's not always... You know, she needs an amplifier to make a really strong sound wave. So, like, I was thinking, like... when I was reading about earthquakes, I don't think she needs a physical, like a strong hit to the ground to somehow cause a tremor. I think she just needs her girlfriend who can make anything. She has one of the... Oh, hi, Tiso. Her girlfriend is one of the best quirks in the whole class, because she can alchemically make whatever she wants, which is a lot of suspension of disbelief, somehow out of her body. So she'll make amplifiers and stuff. But when I was reading about earthquakes, I was thinking that's actually untapped Momojiro, because Momo should have made, like, a spike into the earth. I mean, with the applications of sound waves and an amplifier, you can do so much when you have a girlfriend who can make anything you can dream of. So they should have made something where it's like a spike that goes into the ground and then is also an amplifier, like some kind of light, not exactly a lightning rod, but like they could have plugged Jiro into just like these, like, you know, some kind of spike to go deep into the earth and also serve as an amplifier. And I'm sure this is something that, like, there is research on, but it sounds to me like if you put a loud enough blast of sound energy out into the earth, you could make a small-scale tremor. I think you could. I don't think you need a impact. I don't think you need the other guy who was helping her. I think you just need to amplify the sound waves as much as you can. Although my guess is that you would have to blow it up to such an extent, if you were to try to remain anything near realistic, that it would be a ridiculously large device. This other guy. This guy and this other guy. Not a fan of the fools of the tournament, are we? What sentence did I drop? I dropped so many sentences. Pale thing. Pathetic. I mean, he's not that far from it, but... No, yeah, I think it's frustrating to me because at the end of the day, it's a show with, like, a really loosely defined power system where, like, the rock guy can just suddenly transform. Like, it's not just that he turns into rocks, but he turns into, like, this indestructible monster dude or something. Like, the author's not consistent, but the ideas are sometimes so rooted in actual, like, science and stuff like that, and also the characters' personalities in a cool extension of the self, that it gets my imagination going. And having to, like, cope through Jiro being in, like, a way tougher fight than she should have been, my brain has gone to so many places with how you could potentially use that quirk. And, yeah, it's just, yeah, a lot of untapped stuff and frustration, unfortunately. But it definitely got me interested in sound waves and energy and just this whole cycle of things that are interesting to me. I don't know, I feel like an instinctual connection. Her mentor is an orca. He's the best. Come on. I forget his name now, actually. It's Killer Gang Orca. Gang Orca. Yeah. Gang Orca. I love so much. Oh, Mythbusters. Did they? Mythbusters using sound for damage, because I think I was already getting a little bit stupid because there's a small YouTuber who I'd love to collaborate with on this someday, who is putting out thought videos on Pokemon sound type, because it's something a lot of people want, and when you look into the physics of it, it becomes like a pretty decent case for being an incredibly metagame balancing type. And I hadn't been researching waves as much back then. I mean, I hadn't been fucking reading anything about science back then. So whenever it came time to actually consider hard science, I was like, outies. Like, people would come into the comments and be like, this could never work. And we'd be like, we can't prove anything otherwise. But the idea that we had, or that he presented, is it would be not... A sound type attack would be ineffective against a bug, because bugs have their own hearing systems, and because they're also very noisy, so they make their own noise and they cancel it out. Bug and ice type are two of the weakest types in the game, if not the weakest, and it would be really cool if bug was super effective against sound, because the bug puts out its own sound and it's disruptive to the sound-based Pokemon, and also something about bug ears I don't quite understand. Aside from that, it would be not very effective against snow, because sound, like, doesn't travel over snow, or, like, it's hard for sound waves to, like, puncture snow or something like that, or ice or something like that. But the best part of all is that it could be super effective against water and steel, because those are two of the best types in the game, and supposedly, based on the quack science that we've been passing around the sound type community, sound passes particularly well through water and steel. So I'm like, it's so cool. Resonance bridges. Well, that's on them. That's a skill issue. They're not as devoted to this as I am. Look at this bridge. Look at this bench. It's decorated. It's got, like, asymmetrical dollops. No, yeah, her first mentor is just a loud ass guy. He's just a guy with a loud voice, but, you know, and that's, like, fine. But her cooler mentor is Gang Orca, who teaches her sonar, and I'm just like, if she wasn't Horikoshi's favorite character, she wouldn't have had to fight All For One as, like, the stand-in every woman to represent that, like, anybody can be a hero or whatever, and she could have just done what she's really good at, which is backline support on sonar, and then she lost a fucking ear for it, so now she's gonna be less good at sonar, and that was so bad. That was such bad writing. but also injuries are so loosely defined in the series that it's been a year since this happened plus, and I don't actually know if it's a permanent injury or not. I hate this anime so much. I hate it. But Salubra is good. What kind of animal is Salubra? She looks like a grub. Oh, yeah, mouth noises. Mouth noises, though. Always with the mouth noises. Yeah, this is one of those charms that we actually use. I won't buy any more charms, otherwise Naoto might die unhappy. I could talk for so long. Who did I get? I talked Yo Sensei and Momoko Sensei's ears off when we were together about the fucking Jiro versus All For One thing. It's not orcas. Yes. Yes. No, it would be so good to have a type super effective against water. Exactly. Like, that's why I hate My Hero is so painful, and I do not consider it one of my favorite mangas, because like I find the characters downright inspired and so cool, but the writing's just not good. He has very bad foresight, and it is really hard. It is really hard for me to not feel like one of... I mean, okay, by and large, I have settled and processed Jiro versus All For One as like really cool. Really, really cool. And full of like absolutely amazing shit, pushing my favorite character, one of my 5 favorite characters of all time, to this intense level to reveal really cool shit about herself that like did not need to happen. Like, most characters do not get that kind of moment. It is specifically the Jiro favoritism that caused it. She was kind of, but it just... The issue is that, like, it's cool on its own, and it revealed how powerful she is, but the issue is that, like, the issue is really just that, like, it didn't thematically fit with her, because, like, it really could have been anybody that served as the everyman there. Like, she really was just, like, she was really just, like, being a regular person put into the battle of the gods. And the other normal student that she fought with, and I love him for this, like, he was there for a very particular thematic reason, which was defending his mentor Hawks. Unfortunately, the 2 characters that they were coming into this battle to save are 2 of the shittiest people in the whole series. They decided to pivot after All Might fell. They decided to spend the second half of the show getting into like the morally gray part of hero society. So the next 2 best heroes are these morally gray motherfuckers. And Hawks is a lot better than Endeavor. But I still had to see my favorite fucking character almost die to save 2 shitty old men. And Tumblr was a light about this. Tumblr was like, Jiro, honey, you really just sustained the most, like, violating injury in this whole fucking series full of violating injuries against women to save these functionless middle-aged men because this author sucks so bad. So, like, in the end, Jiro and Tokoyami did, like, an absolutely insanely good job and, like, outperformed, like, anybody else besides Deku from the class. But it was completely unnecessary. It was so random. It's just that he likes Jiro, and Tokoyami just always gets involved whenever Hawks is involved. So, and like, again, like, I find quirks interesting, even though their execution isn't interesting, because like it's a really cool scene for the 2 of them. Because Tokoyami is a half bird person with like a bird shadow brother who is awesome, and he like lives inside of his cloak, and he's like a friend with everybody in the class, and he grows stronger in darkness, which is, I think, used, even though it's a kind of magical quirk, it's used in a very constructed way, and they push Dark Shadow to like extreme limits while staying within the rules that were set for how he works, which is darkness makes him larger, light makes him smaller. So it's this insane Deus Ex Machina kind of thing where the 2 shittiest men of all time are about to get killed by the evil emperor, and then out of fucking nowhere, Tokoyami, on the front lines where kids should not have been, Tokoyami was supposed to be the only person on the front lines because he is very strong and he can fly in and support hawks in the air. The whole battle takes place in the air, which is why only like the strongest guys can get up there. But Tokoyami and Jiro rig up this thing where Tokoyami can fly if he puts out his arms the right way, and Dark Shadow is on his back. So Dark Shadow becomes the wings, he guides them, then they become like a functional bird. Jiro is the smallest person in class, so she can sit on his back and not weigh him down, and she can hold on to Dark Shadow and Tokoyami with her hands while using her quirk because she has the cables. And sound is what they need to break the impenetrable armor. So it's really smart, and honestly, maybe it was somewhat forward thinking in terms of like how smart it was, and it worked, and their plan worked and everything. But it did not thematically fit her at all. Like, nothing was building to like, yeah, someday Jiro's gonna walk up and shit talk All For One. It was not. It was never coming. Nobody asked for this. So like, it fascinates me in terms of like, it's such a cool use of their quirks. But like, oh my god, it did not have to happen. It did not have to happen. She could have been fine. She could have had both of her ears. Yeah, exactly. It's really interesting, except this is just a horror author, derogatory, who just wants to traumatize girls and children. He just keeps dealing with these concepts of injuries against women and child abuse and never like deals with it in an interesting way. It's just a shit show. I get so fired up about quirks. And I care so little about that show. That's my rage. I went to greenpath and it's like, oh, greenpath, no more my hero. I talk about Jiro vs. All For One like it's a war story that I actually lived through. Because getting fed that shit week by week was painful. Yeah, where are we going? Oh, that world you built. Over Kaito's couch. That's already a superhero society, right? Yes, we talked about the origins for it. Yes, you've already begun the work on this. I enjoy this. Yeah, I don't know if I like superhero society. I'm like quasi interested. Like I'm not that interested in like the societal part, but I do like me a good superpower. I like a good mutation. I really, really like mutations and stuff as like extensions of people's personality. Yeah, no, the second half is really dog shit. But if you're okay with spoilers, Uraraka and Toga ended up like almost dying in each other's arms with how much Yuri got blasted into their relationship. Like Toga is now dead, and she had like her big final battle. And it did not involve Deku. It was literally her and Uraraka like bleeding out in the sky together and talking about how much they love each other. And then she kind of kills Uraraka, but then gives her a blood transfusion to save her because she was like the first person to make her feel loved. And she fucking dies in her arms. Like, they shot the Yuri off to Jupiter on that one. I thought that was just straight up good. Like, I genuinely don't think it's worth consuming the second half of that show. Like, it's what I'm mostly familiar with, and like a lot of my favorite characters are in there, but like it's not as good as the first half with All Might. It's not fucking good. So what's funny about that is I think she constructed it with post-it notes on top of his couch, and I went to his apartment and it was covered in world building notes. But I thought you were referring to, there's a joke that Australia has so many bugs and poisonous creatures that Hollow Knight takes place under an Australian person's couch. Like, this is just an average day under an Australian person's couch. This is just what it looks like down there. My conspiracy notebook. Yeah. I hope I didn't write. I hope I didn't interrupt you in thinking about things that are better than Toga. Yeah, the Yandere. She fucking died in Uraraka's arms. It was actually beautiful. It was so beautiful. Yeah, the creative process is fun, isn't it? Manifestations in silly ways like that are like, that's fun. The the guy who runs the club that I go to tweeted about seeing like 4 girls walking down the street eating snacks with their instruments on their backs, and he's like, youth, it must be summer. They must be getting off band practice, like ganbatte, little girls. And I was just like, yeah, like I almost half of why I wish that I was in a band or something would be just like the moments of like chilling out while you're working and creating and stuff like that. Like, me and a couple sensei became idols to do the talent show, and that I literally, like, the talent show itself, like, I don't know how much people actually enjoyed our thing, but like, oh my god, just as I told them many times, we were so pressed for time, but I was like, literally, I don't care what happens, I don't care how far we get in this, all I want is like one night of just trying our absolute best to make this happen, and then I'll be satisfied. So we had 2 nights of practice at like midnight when the kids were asleep to get it done, and it was just so magical. Just the 3 of us working together on it and being completely unified and like doing our very, very best. Everything about it was magical. I really, yeah. There's something magical about practice and creating and just like the moments of being engaged with it. Youth. So it's like, I wouldn't say he redeemed her, but she died with, I don't know, she didn't, I don't know, I'd say she became more and more self-knowing, and she became very aware of, like, the life she created for herself being, like, completely damned. And, I think Ochako really just wore her down, because, like, it was basically, like Ochako's heart is so pure, because she's, like, Kirby, I guess, that like eventually what she wanted from Deku / like the world, she started to get just from like how much Uraraka like wanted to save her and wanted her to be okay. So it's not like she became a hero or anything, but when she died, I mean, she pretty much killed Ochako, but like it went on for long enough, and just like even in facing death, Uraraka never stopped wanting to believe in this like fucked up little girl, that she was like, you know what, like, screw it, like, I want you to be alive, not me. And it was peaceful. I think it was one of the better things from a final arc, and I've read way too much junk keeping up with this stupid fucking final arc. Oh my god. It's one of the few, like, legitimately artistic things. Except for the seal is broken. Except for, as I mentioned, they used Dark Shadow really well. And one time they did that was Jiro instructed a whole bunch of people from other classes who came to help them in the final battle to like use their quirks to create more darkness for Dark Shadow, because they were putting all of their dice and killing the final form of All for One into Mountain Lady, Gigantomachia turned, and Dark Shadow. They were just super powering Dark Shadow to his highest extent because they knew that how powerful he could become. So Dark Shadow, with Tokoyami's control, or I mean, I guess he's on his own, becomes like absurdly tall, like Niagara Falls level of huge. Like he just becomes this gigantic, like, darkness monster, and they just pump him up with as much darkness as possible, and he's just beating the fuck out of All for One, which is amazing for a kid from 1A. And there's a line where All for One's trying to do his like evil stuff, and he's like, "You think you're darkness? I'm the king of darkness," or whatever. He's like, I am the master of darkness. And Tokoyami, who's like the goth, like, raven boy, who's been living with like his shadow brother, who's like literally a sentient shadow for his whole life. There's a flashback of them like being kids together, and like him tucking Dark Shadow into bed, and he's staring down All for One, and who's like, "Who made you the king of darkness? There are so many kinds of darkness you'll never understand," and just like completely destroys him with this gigantic, like, mega max Dark Shadow, which of course only destroys like one fucking form because this fight's been going on for years. But it's exactly like the end of Hollow Knight. It was so cool. Like, he's staring him down, this fucking kid, just like Jiro did, and he's like, "Who died and made you the king of darkness? You don't understand darkness." And this gigantic darkness monster just fucking whacks him. It's really beautifully done. Yeah, I think Jiro versus Afo, the gigantic Dark Shadow, Himiko dying, nothing else. I mean, nothing else has been really beautiful, and I've read like months and months and months of chapters at this point. Yeah, I felt fine about it. One of my friends was like, "Meh, that was a waste." And I'm like, I really don't think it's a waste. Like, Toko is not going back to normal society. So within those constraints and understanding some of the, like, sexism of, like, Uraraka, like, the irredeemable girl who just wants to be loved or whatever, and then the girl who's so loving and so stalwart and has such a pure heart or whatever the fuck, like, there's plenty of his sexism there. But it is beautiful in a vacuum. Gods go their whole lives waiting to say that to somebody. That's how it felt. And I think they executed that feeling of like, dude, this has been this guy's whole life. Like, you're not dark, you're just evil. No, that was beautiful. That was fucking amazing. No, after she gets injured, Jiro becomes like the special move announcer, and she keeps getting dragged into all these different things. And she's like the only person who knows what's going on. She's like, "Holy shit! This is a quirk evolution." We're like, "Oh my god, everybody do this thing for Tokoyami." Like, he doesn't want to stop drawing her, but she really doesn't have anything more to do because she's just one person with no physical strength and one jack. Like, she has nothing left to add to the fight. I'm trying to find my way. I will make stories out of the shit that I read from the second half, so nobody else has to actually consume the second half. You. There are good characters, some that I really like, that come out of the whole, like, morally gray hero society thing, but it's just not a good direction. It's just not the right show for dealing with that kind of thing, or at least he didn't convince me that it was the right show for dealing with those themes. Now, the ultimate technique. There we go. Alright. Getting our greenpath degree. With the greenpath fight. We're fighting the path itself. Wow. Oh. Oop, oop, oop. Yeah, there's a lot less startup animation when he jumps. Oh god. Yikes. Oop. Oh yeah, there's no sense jumping is what that means. Yeah, only jump on reaction if you see it. If you don't see it, then don't jump. Hey. For money, Mario? No! For me! I like that those guys go away and you don't have to, like, have the option to murder them one by one or anything. Tired of that kind of shit. I am decently tired. I guess I gotta lay down. I'm hoping this isn't like a virus that like is gonna take a second to go through me, because I'm kind of shocked how much I still have the virus feeling. For me. What's this way? Yeah, this is a really satisfying area. I think something about like the sheer amount of detail is kind of overwhelming. Like there's so much to take in that I'm kind of like, don't look at that, don't look at that, don't look at that, just keep going. Like if I wanted to like smell every flower along the way, it would take forever. And also it's like big enough that I'd probably get tired of all of these green and purple and blue flowers, but I don't know, it's I understand people seeing this as like a gigantic step up in intrigue. It's definitely not the just like boring early area that I used to treat it as. I used to treat it as just something to get through to something more interesting. Because usually back then I was most interested in like sequence breaking, I guess, or at least like having some freedom of choice in what upgrades I get. And that doesn't open up until after here. So it was kind of, I guess, just something to push through because it was linear, right? But it's quite fun. It's quite fun. Even if it is linear and kind of not a tutorial, but you know, your beginning area before the adventure becomes, you know, how it later feels with all of the freedom of choice and stuff like that. It's beautiful. I mean, I'd play a Kirby game like this in a heartbeat. Doing significantly less interesting stuff. Oh, I could play a Kirby game right now. Oh, I'm so tired. I just gotta call the stream early. I really am not sure if I'm gonna make it till noon. I mean, I'll take another break, but I'm starting to feel tired. No. Wait, what am I doing? Where am I going? Hey. my theory is I can get a grub now, but if I had something else, Crystal Dash, or maybe a Shade. I think I've tried to do a Shade skip here, and it might work, but I don't give a fuck. I don't know where I'm walking back from, so I'm not doing that. See, that's probably how I burned myself out. Like, it was only my second time playing, and I'm like, I'm gonna do a Shade skip right here for a nail art that I only barely want to use, and I'm gonna do 11 deaths to get that. Like, I was not starting where I needed to start, which is just like enjoying this game and making the emotional connection with it. Just tasting it, frankly. I want to begin with tasting it. I want to taste it. I want to be able to taste it again. Motherfucker, I'm doing the Shade skip. I'm doing the fucking Shade skip right now. We'll see where it spawns. No, this is like a long fucking rewalk. Yeah, if I got a zoo, zoo, zoo. Wow, that is a throwback. Zoo, zoo, zoo. This is like Hornet. No, it's not. All I really have to compare a virus that lasts 3 days is like the 2 times I got COVID, but it might just be my first time getting a mild cold and having it pass through my system of the Japanese variety. Yeah. Nigeology. Paleonegeology. Paleonegeology. But I would never lead my Shade over to the nail art and then die trying to... Come on, buddy. Come on. Oh. Huh. Just once. Just once. Yeah. Yeah, I think I ran into that problem the first time. Yeah, not 4. Not 4 days this time. Certainly not 11. Certainly not all of my time with Pikmin 4. Dark Shadow! In the end, truly, what in Boku no Hero Academia second half wasn't lifted from Hollow Knight? I mean, you know. I haven't really thought about what kind of ending I'm going to go through on this file. I got Sealed Siblings, and I released Grimm in 2021, because, wisely, I knew that I didn't have it in me to do Radiance or Nightmare King. You know, we could do some new stuff on this stream. Like seeing the good ending, which I've never done. I've never done that. It's gonna be a while. I think you can Shade skip up that thing and then do some more pogoing and then get the nail art or whatever is there. I really am bushed. I feel like I shouldn't push. Man, 3 hours is nothing. 3 hours is like half of a stream for us. Wow. Oh yeah, I will. No. I was just noodling around. I think you could get that as a Shade skip if I had the willpower, but I was saying I don't really want to force myself to. I don't have the willpower. I'd rather just enjoy the game going normally. Yeah, I think I was trying to make my own Shade skip one time. I remember doing that walk back like fucking 9 times. I don't remember if it worked or not. Ugh. Yuck. Yeah, I got like no symptoms. It's just like when I had COVID. It's just like punching me in the gut. Oh my god, really? Wait, but wait, is Nightmare King Grim the second version or the first? I might be getting it mixed. Oh, no. Not Nightmare King, just the normal Grim fight. I've never done the normal Grim fight. Even though I love him, he's like my favorite character. Troop Master Grim. No, yeah, I've never done Troop Master Grim either. I tried, but I was like, bruh, fuck this. I knew I was burned out. So I got to Radiance and I got to normal Grim, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not grinding this. This will be for next time. And I didn't finish my next playthrough. So, Hollow Gaming. Oh my god, Doink Soft. Oh my god. Gunbrella is coming out this month. Wow, much to consider. Okay, I am in a piece. Only 3 hours? Well, I'll get more Saturday. Only 3 hours. So short. So short. Well, thank y'all for hanging out. That was definitely fun. And we got greenpath done really cleanly. Really cleanly. Yeah, it's just a new fight to learn. Oh, I also did, kind of knowing that I would have to step up my game, I did a couple dream battles. I'll definitely be interested in doing more dream battles, in this run, because that's kind of where my skill level's at now. Once I can do more of those, I'll probably be approaching Good End. I've never seen Good End. It's been spoiled, of course, but I've never done it. I got Sealed Siblings last time because I was like, fuck it. I might as well get the Sealed Siblings achievement. That's good. That sounds fun. No. Sparkling water. Sparkling like the soda that fills up greenpath. Yeah, I'm gonna go find the real greenpath next door at the park. Alright. Well, peace out. Yeah, next weekend? Yeah, I'll aim for Saturday morning, Friday night. I can't think of why I would want to move it yet, but I'll put up the card sooner than I did this time. I'll certainly try to have it up by Wednesday. I'm so glad you're fascinated. It's like, I learned it all so quickly that I never take time to appreciate how cool the lore is. Oh, yeah, we were together. Just greenpath. Good old greenpath. Alright. See you next time.